All right. And how many would you say is about intermediate? Intermediate? Okay. And I don't, it may not be any experts on here. Anybody feel like they're an expert, but you just needed to get extra sharpened today? That's all right. But that's good. It's always good. Always be in a learning state, right? To get something so that you can be sharpened, because it's always growing. Zoom just updated on Sunday, if you guys don't know. Sunday, there's a new security feature. So it's always grown. It's always growing. So you should always be learning. So we're going to jump right into our session for today. I'm going to use a function that I'm going to teach you about later, but I'm going to share my screen with you all. So let's see here. I am going to make myself okay. Awesome. Let's see here. I'll make sure that people can share their screen. Yes. And we are going to go ahead here. Make host. Yes. All right. Everybody can still see and hear me, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Let's go to our session. And again, thank you for being here.
We lost you, Najiyyah.
You're on mute, Najiyyah.
Can you
She
hear me?
Yes.
now we can.
Yes.
Okay, great. Great. So we're going to go over some basics. If you see on this slide here, we have what? We have a computer, a
Laptop,
laptop, we have a tablet,
iPad.
yes, a phone, right? And so always be mindful that when you are utilizing Zoom from these different devices, some things are going to change just a little bit, okay? In the broad spectrum, your functions are going to work the same, but some things may be in a different area. So if you're using from your phone, you may have to scroll on the bottom. If you are using Zoom from your laptop, you have way more capability, okay? And so when you're hosting, I want to encourage you to use a laptop or a computer, because you have more function that way. But you're not so limited. When you have a certain updated iPad, the iPad can also do almost as much as the laptop, and a phone you are a little bit limited, but you can still do most of the major functions. But when you are hosting an event, I would advise you to do use a laptop. Right now, I'm using a laptop and my phone, just so that I can navigate some things. And when you are using two devices, because sometimes people use multiple devices in the same household, we experienced that, right, Nina, when we hosted our vacation Bible school. And so we have families in the same households with the same with that needed to be in different rooms of the Zoom, and so we asked them to use earbuds and separate themselves, because if not, there will be feedback. So if you use two devices, you have to make sure that one of the devices, the audio is disconnected, because you will get feedback. Okay, so this is just the basics that we're going to go into right now. How do you create a Zoom account? Now, you're not required to create a Zoom account when you're using Zoom, but I highly recommend it. Okay, I highly recommend you use it, because it makes it more of a personal experience for you and your host and the entire audience that's playing a part. And so, as we are virtual learning and as we are having virtual programming, we can't touch each other, we can't see each other, and so we want you to be able to create a Zoom account so you can utilize all the functions. All right. Now, when you go to Zoom.us, if you're going to your web browser, that anywhere on the internet, if you use Chrome, Safari, whatever you use the internet, you will go to Zoom.us. That's www.zoom.us to create a Zoom account. You can also go to your Zoom app on your smart device and download the Zoom app and create an account there. You can create a totally free account. All accounts are not paid accounts, all right? And so you can create a free account or you can pay for a service. If you know you're leading a group and you're going to be using it a lot and you need more than 40 minutes of free of meeting time, because the free account allows you 40 minutes per session. Okay. And I believe when we first started out with Zoom, we were doing using a free account, and we would get use the 40 minutes, get kicked off because it kicks you off after 40 minutes, and then we will all just jump back on for another 40 minutes. But that's a hassle when you're going to use it all the time. So you want to get a paid account if you're going to be hosting events, all right? But with a free account, you're able to utilize all these other functions. You want to create a profile picture for yourself. Right now, I see at the top of my if you look, I know you're seeing my screen, but you can also look at, if you swipe left or use the grid, so you can see everyone here that's in the meeting tonight. You'll see that some people have their video on, right? And then you'll see that some people do not have their video on, so you just see their name, right? And then some people don't have their video on, and you see an icon or a profile picture. And so you're able to create a profile picture when you don't want people to see you. If you're en route, if you're currently moving, you're cooking, you're cleaning, you don't really want people to see you, but you want it to be a little bit more personal. So you want to create a profile picture for yourself, and you're able to do this when you create an account. Okay. And it'll walk you through step by step. All you need to do is settings click on settings, and then you will see where you can update your profile picture right in the settings. Okay. And that's on whether you're using your phone or your laptop or a tablet. All right. And then you want to rename yourself. How many people have been on meetings and you see the person, their name is iPhone 3, right? Their name might be iPhone 3. Let me look through here and see how many of you have your actual names. I see you guys are doing pretty good. Pretty good. Let me see. Yep, everyone, it looks like they have a name tonight. But if you notice, if you're on some meetings, you'll see it says Galaxy, Samsung Galaxy 102. You're like, who is that? I want to know who that is, right? You want to know, you want to be able to identify some folks. And so to rename yourself, all you have to do is click on the three button. You have go to participants. You can take notes also, guys. All you're going to do is click on participants. That's on your bottom, your taskbar that's across the bottom. That's going to be the same whether you're on your phone or your laptop. But if you're on a tablet, it may be at the top of your tablet. Okay, all the functions that you see. But all you're going to do is click on participants, and when you see your name or or it says me, click on that, and it will give you an option to rename yourself. Okay, and you're able to rename yourself whatever you like. So if you want to use your full name or nickname or whatever you want to do, but let people identify who you are. And then so I want to go over some basic functions, right? We're going to go over some of the basic functions of your taskbar. All right, so you guys can see this screen. This is what it looks like on a laptop. And on a phone, it's a little different, but the icons are the same. So you don't have to worry about that. The icons will be the same, whether they're going to be at the top, at the bottom. They vary between different devices. So your microphone is the first thing that you want to be able to understand. And if you see here on my screen, the microphone is all the way to the left, in the left hand corner. If you see this little white triangle that's pointing, or arrow that is pointing up, that is going to allow you to join the audio. Everyone, when you came on this meeting today, you had to join audio, right? And so this is great for even when you want to teach others, all right, about how to join your meeting. Tell them they must join the audio, right? Or they will not be able to hear or speak. All right. They're not going to be able to hear or speak unless they join the audio. And then right here, which is so important, how many of y'all get frustrated because people don't mute their mic? People do not mute their mic. And it's like, y'all, we've been in quarantine for 6 months. Y'all don't get it yet. Y'all didn't understand it yet. But please, always with patience. And, you never want to be nasty to people. You want to be loving and kind, but please put yourself on mute. please put yourself on mute by using your mic function. And then some people make a mistake and unmute themselves, and so just constantly be reminded to mute them. Okay. I'm also going to give you a shortcut for muting folks. You can press, if you're on your laptop, you can press um, Alt M, and that will mute everyone. Okay, that could quickly mute everyone. If you can't identify who's making the noise, but you should be able to, because when you click on participants, their microphone moves. It moves up and down. It moves up and down. You'll see the green come up, right, and rise up, and that means that there's activity on that person's phone. And anything will make noise. When people cough, when they slide themselves around the phone, if they drop something, if somebody is in another room, you can hear everything. So please remind everyone to mute themselves. And then, as a bonus, some people are dial in participants, right? Some people dial into your meeting um, when they're trying to access the meeting. And when they're dialing in, all they need to do is press *6 to mute and unmute themselves. They're gonna press *6. We have some of our seasoned saints, right? Some of our elders, they're not doing it, the app. They don't want to go through all of that downloading and things like that, and they just want to call in, and that's absolutely fine. And then there's some people we can't take for granted that everyone has internet access. Okay. And so those that do, and we don't want to leave anybody out. And so I admonish you to make sure that you leave a dial-in option for your audience, and it's always available. You don't have to create that, but just remember that it's available when you create a meeting, which I'm going to walk you through creating a meeting in a second. Just remember that you have folks that don't have access to the internet or don't know how to access the internet. Let's not forget that. Yes, it's 2020, but there are people that still are not there yet. So don't leave them out. The other function is our video. You guys do well. You turned your video on. It looks great. All right. You want to make sure your background is nice and clear. If you're multitasking, turn that video off so you're not distracting to everyone. Okay. But you see this, the video function is right there, right next to the microphone. I already talked to you about participants. When you click on that participants, you'll be able to see who's there. You can even rename, when you are the host. You can rename people yourself. You can rename them. You can kick them out if they do not belong. You can remove them. You can mute them. You can chat with them. You can do all types of things. So the next function is the chat. We chatted when you guys came in this evening. I asked you guys what town you were from, what city you were from. I saw West Orange. I saw Plainfield. I think I may have seen Piscataway or something like that. But that's the chat function, and you want to utilize that when you're having meetings to communicate without having a whole lot of background noise. All right, because it can get chaotic at some point depending on the formality of your meeting. It may be a very formal meeting. Hey, I see Wilkes Barre, Pennsylvania is in the house. Hey, Faith, welcome. And so you want to be, some of your meetings are not as formal, but, you want to be able to control, what's going on in your meeting. The share screen is the green button in the middle. This button is available on your laptop, your computer, or your smart device. You can share screen even on a phone. I did a session where I could not get to my laptop, and I had to do a presentation, and I did it directly from my phone. I got it right from my Google Drive. I use Google Slides, and I went right there. And so I was able to even share my screen on my phone. So even your phone is not limiting if you get in a bind and you only can use your phone. But the share screen button, right now, I have it protected that you guys cannot. I have it on that you can share your screen. And so when you go to the security, which we'll talk about a little bit later, you can control if people are able to share their screen or not. All right. The recording function is right next to that. You want to be able to record. You can record to your computer if you're using your computer, or you can mute yourself. I'm sorry, not mute. You can record even on your phone to your cloud if you have an account. So if you have an account, you can record from your phone. All you have to do is press the record function and it will record to your cloud drive and that recording will be available once your meeting is over. And you can go into the back and into your account and download that and retrieve that recording. Um Reactions are here. People can use reactions. You want to react while the person is presenting. You want to laugh, smile, joke, sad, whatever you want to do. There are reactions and emojis where people can use that even to interact. This is how helpful for interaction. And then there's a more button. Do you guys see here at the bottom? There's three dots and it says more, right? Shake your head if you can see that. And so that button allows you to stream your meeting on another platform. You can stream your meeting on Facebook Live. You can stream your meeting on YouTube. And there's some other functions that Zoom allows you to platform. I think there's about four. And so if you have your Facebook account, if you have the Facebook account, yeah, I think Kiana, you said you don't have the more option. Um, you may not have it because you can't see it right now because you're not hosting. But when you host, you should be able to see the more function. And if you cannot see the more function, you need to go to your back office, go to zoom.us, open up your account, and go to meeting settings. And you're going to scroll down and look for streaming to another platform. You can search for that and you can turn that function. Okay, and I'll show you that before we leave here. Lisa, you had a question. I want to make sure I answer it. Can you mute everyone if you are not the host? No, you cannot. You have no control over the meeting if you're not the host. The host can make you a co-host, and you can also have controlling capabilities when you are made a co-host. So if you are not a host, you cannot mute. Um, Recording all audio or audio and video. The recordings are both audio and video. So it's going to give you a video, and then it's going to give you. Let me mute you face. Okay. Um, it's going to give you a video, right? It gives you video and audio. And then if you wanted just the MP3 where you just wanted to listen, it also gives you that. And then it also transcribes the chat. So when you record, anything put in the chat is saved, and it'll give you a text version of what was put in the chat. And so I've been a part of programs where they ask people, put your information in the chat because we're going to download this. Give me your email address, and people type their email addresses in there, and then the host had their information afterwards. So the meeting actually records everything. Okay. Any questions about that before I move on? Okay. So, hosting a Zoom meeting. I'm going to show you how to schedule a meeting. We talked about recording a meeting. I want to show you how to retrieve those recordings, how to stream your meeting, and how to market your meeting. Okay, so that's the 5 things that we're going to just briefly go over, okay, about hosting. And so, I'm going to show you how to schedule a meeting, okay? This is your back office, zoom.us. This is the platform when you go and use your browser, okay? You go to zoom.us. Here is my account. I'm going to sign out so I can show you what it looks like when you want to sign up for it. See this orange button says sign up for free? You can sign up for free, and then you can upgrade your account if you want to at any time. But I'm going to sign into my account. All right. All right. And so this is our when you're trying to schedule a meeting at the top, there's a button that says, or there's an option that says schedule a meeting. So when I want to schedule a meeting, this is what it's going to look like. All right. I'm going to schedule it and call it whatever I want to call it. Right. So I'm going to just put here test meeting. You can give a description so that your audience knows exactly what's going to happen at that meeting, but it's not necessary. It's optional. You're going to schedule the meeting, right? You're going to go to your calendar. I'll say I'm scheduling this for October 2nd at 8 p.m., right? I want to host this meeting for an hour. My time zone is Eastern Standard Time. It's always on that for me because that's what my when I signed up uh for my account, I put my time zone in there. For this event, I asked you guys to register. You can actually select registration here if you like, and that way you will get people's information, right, when they register, and you can communicate with them at a later date, remind them about the meeting and things like that. But if you do not want to require registration, do not check that box. The meeting ID, you want to generate it automatically, or you can use your personal meeting ID for it. That means that this is the same meeting ID all the time, right? But if you want it to be a more private meeting for a certain group of people, or it's a certain event happening, you're going to generate it automatically. And the security, which they just changed this Sunday, okay? You have every Zoom meeting has to have either a passcode or a waiting room. So you guys, when you came in today, you were in a waiting room, right? It said wait until the host starts the meeting or wait until the host lets you in. If you want to avoid that, so what happens is when you guys are coming into the meeting now, I have to admit you in one at a time. And that's okay for small meetings, right? But if you have a really large meeting, over 100 people or so, it gets a little tedious, right? And so you may want to create a passcode, and you can customize this passcode to be anything that you want it to be. It could be numbers or letters, okay? And it could be something easily memorable for your people. Always remember, your dial-in audience has to type in this passcode as well. They're going to have to dial a phone number, they have to dial a meeting ID, and then they're going to have to dial a passcode. So there's going to be three steps. There's going to be three steps for those dialing folks. And so for me and us at my church, we decided that we're not going to make a passcode for people. We just created an administrative team that will be available always to make sure that we are adding people in, because we don't want to be, um, you know, taxing on our members, and they're very used to getting on Zoom this way with Bible study and even our worship service. So, we decided not to use the passcode, but you may be able to use the passcode. So it's up to you, but Zoom now requires either or. And this is just for your security so people are not breaching into your meeting. And so here I would select waiting room. The video for the host is going to be off when I first start. I put off and the participant is off because I don't want anybody to be taken off guard. And I want you to be able to turn on your own camera. And then for the audio, I select both because I want it for telephone and computer audio. The other meeting options you have here, you can enable people to join before the host. Um, which I like to do because I don't want to have to be there all the time. And then again, it's a little different now because of the security. I want to mute the participants upon entry because I don't want people coming in with all their noise. I'd never select only authenticated users can join because that limits you to who can come in. You can pre-assign breakout rooms, and I'll talk to you a little bit about that later. You can have one meeting where people come to meet and then break them out into rooms if you want to have different classes. So say you're hosting a conference or you're hosting Bible study, you have different age groups or different levels, you can split your people up into the breakout rooms, and you can pre-assign those rooms here by creating the rooms and then importing from a CSV. You can select automatically record meeting. I never do that because I like my recording to start when we actually start. I don't like that dead space in the beginning. So I never select that, but if that's what you like because you think you're gonna forget to record, you can select that as well. And then you're just gonna hit save. You're gonna hit save there. And then this is your meeting. And so it gives you the meeting ID here. You see the meeting ID? And then it gives you an invitation link. And so you can give both. All right. You want to give both out to your audience. You want to give them both so that way they can just click and I get on the meeting. Some people like to go directly to their Zoom app. They may not be able to click the link from wherever they're trying to join it from. They may have an iPad where they can't access their text message or their email. So they need to know the actual meeting ID so they can type it in. And so I give the meeting ID to my audience so that they know also I can just go directly to my Zoom account or my Zoom app and type this meeting in. I can click on join meeting and enter these numbers in. Another bonus, if you have Gmail or right here, you see an Outlook calendar and a Yahoo calendar. If you use any of these, I use Google Calendar. I think almost everybody has Gmail now. But you can add your event to your Google Calendar. Let me show you how I add to my Google Calendar. I select my Gmail that I wanted to do. I allow, and then my meeting automatically goes here. It's in my Google Calendar. Woohoo! Right? It's automatically there. So if I go to edit this event and I know my guest email addresses, I can just start typing them in here. I can start typing them in right here, right? Say I have another person, um, right? I might have several people I know that I want to send this to, right? I'm going to X this out because I don't want them to join with Google Meet because Google Meet all always just automatically puts Google conferencing on there. And all I have to do is hit save and it sends it to my audience. Send. Bam. Now they all got an email with with the link. It's going to come up in their calendar. They can say, yes, I will attend. No, I cannot attend. Maybe I will. And then it will automatically remind them as well. Okay. And so this is for your smaller meetings, but I always put everything in my graph, in my email. That way I know what my calendar looks like and I won't forget. Okay. So that's scheduling a meeting. Annette said, is there a limit on the number of participants? It depends on the level of your account. So if you've paid for an account, like I have an account that has 100, it allows. If I think I'm going to over that, I can do an add-on, right? Because I may not need 100 for all year long. I don't need to upgrade to 300, right? I don't need to pay for that. But if I knew there was a month where I'm having an event and I wanted to add on a bigger meeting, I can do that by upgrading and going to my plans and pricing and upgrading just for the month, and then I can take it off. I can
Okay.
add on for 1 month. And that's a good thing to know because you don't want to pay so much money if you're not using it. But if you do go over, you're having an event and like 300 people register and you only have 100 people capacity, you can upgrade it for just a month. And then you can add on. If you always have large meetings, then you may want to get that level of service. Okay? That was a
Okay.
great question.
One more that I didn't type. Um, with the calendar, it works the same way with Outlook and Yahoo as well, if you import it
Yes.
in there.
Yeah, so all you do is click on those ones and it'll walk you through what to do.
Okay. I'm gonna have to start using that, definitely. Thanks.
It really is a lifesaver for me. When we have small meetings for the church, joint board meetings, ministry meetings, leadership meetings, I use that function so that all the leaders can get an email about the event, and then I don't have to sit there and type in and text everybody individually. I send it that way. And so we talked about scheduling a meeting, recording a meeting. I want to show you how to retrieve the recording. Can you? Okay, let me go back here. Share my screen again. So here, when you're in your back office and on the platform and you're trying to find the recordings, on the left-hand side, you're going to click on recordings. You're going to click on recordings, and all your recorded uh, meetings are going to show up here. Okay. Now, these are all my cloud recordings. So this morning, was it this morning or yesterday morning? I had a design consultation with a client. And so if I go here, I take notes this way because um, when I'm meeting with the client, instead of writing it down, I just record our meeting. And you go here in order to, can't see you. I go here in order to I could either play the recording right here, or I can go back and I can download it. I can click download here and download my recordings. This is what I do for our Fire Institute. Sometimes our Bible studies. Um, Actually, the Bible studies I just stream them, and so now we automatically have a recording of it on YouTube. But if when I was doing the other online Bible study, I would download it, the link, and then upload it to another platform so I could to share in order to share it with people. So you can upload it to YouTube. I do this a lot. I'm a dance ministry leader. When we record our rehearsals, I record it and then I upload it to YouTube. And so now it provides us with a MP4. Okay, it gave us an MP4, but it also gave me, if you see behind here, it also gave me a audio, right? I didn't have anything in the chat, or otherwise it would have downloaded that as well. So it gave me an MP4 video and a just audio if I wanted it. All right, and then what I would do with that video is upload it to YouTube or Vimeo. Vimeo.com or YouTube. Both of them are free resources. You can upload your video there and make it and get a shareable link, because some people are like, oh, I'm trying to share my video online, and it's not working because it's too large, right? It won't go. So you can upload it to YouTube or Vimeo in order to create a link. Also, as a bonus, if you have a Gmail account, you can just attach your video to um, your email, and it will convert it to a Google Drive link. Okay, it will convert it to a Google Drive link, and you can just send your video that way as well if you're trying to share your video. I rather use YouTube. If it's just like a one-off thing, I'm just sending something very quickly, I'll do the Google Drive way. But if I want to create a playlist and I want to be able to further reference that video down the line, I use YouTube because I create playlists for Fire Institute, our young adult Bible study. I have a whole playlist. For our dance ministry, I have a whole playlist of our rehearsals, so that way I can go back to them. I don't have to search all over in different emails to try to find that video. So it's easier to. It takes a little more time to do it on YouTube, and Vimeo is another good one. And on Vimeo, you can password protect it as well. YouTube, you can make it unlisted video. You don't want it to be public. You don't want people to see it. You just want the people that you're sharing with it to see it. So you can make it an unlisted video so it's not public. All right. But if you do want it public, you can make sure that you select public that way as well. Any questions about retrieving recording? All right.
The question.
Yeah.
let's say you didn't want to put it on YouTube on the or what's the Vimeo. What would be
Mhm.
the easiest way to like send your that recording? Like if I wanted to record a presentation to like my professor or something, and I didn't want to put it on YouTube, like what's the easiest way to send that? Would it be like I know email might be a little bit large, but like what would be like a good link to send like a Zoom recording to them?
Yeah, you can actually share just if you let me show you. You can share the link when you click here. Okay, it's not here, but I think when you just copy and paste this, um, you can
Okay.
when you record to your cloud, you receive an email that says you can share this recording with your audience, with your viewers, and they
Okay.
have to put in a password. So they give you the link and the password. You can share that directly. Now, when you're recording a lot, they only give you 1 gigabyte of space. Okay,
Okay.
you only get 1 gigabyte, and so you need to clean it out every so often. And so when you begin to delete, you can't house things in your Zoom account. That's a great question, Raymond. So if you want to once you get to a certain amount, it's going to tell you your storage is full. You can't record anymore. So you need to get rid of something that's in your space. But if you want to, like I've done this with a certain groups in my church, and I'll share it. Say this recording will be available for 24 hours, or I might say it'll be available for 7 days, and then I'm deleting it.
Okay, thank you. That helps.
Okay,
Thank you.
and they're able to download. They should be able to download it themselves if they want to save it. They should
Oh,
be
in
able to
that time
download
frame.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So there's several options for that. And like I said, with your storage, you only get 1 gigabyte. It fills up quickly. After you have like 3, 4, maybe 5 meetings, depending on the length, it gets filled up very quickly. So you want to the delete the recordings that you don't need out of your account. So and that's another good reason why you should upload them to YouTube if you want to use them for further use. Okay. And then we're gonna go on to streaming your meeting. So we talked a little bit about that. Um, when you use the more section, so when you use that the three dots at the bottom of your screen, right? You're going to be able to stream it to YouTube, stream it to Facebook. They have Facebook for the workplace, and there's another option that they give. But you can stream, and it has made life so easy for me for the Bible studies because I was downloading, uploading, sharing links for people, but now I stream our Bible studies directly to YouTube, and so they're automatically generated. There's already a link, and so it eliminated 2 steps for me to be able to share the link with people. So I highly recommend you get familiar. Remember, the more button is at the bottom. When you're a host, you can't see it now, but when you are a host, you will see the more section, the more um, function at the bottom. And so let me show you quickly, Kiana, because you were saying that you do not have that function when you're hosting, but you should be able to when you go into your back office. So here under settings, when you click on settings, you have so many settings. It goes on and on and on. Look, you have waiting room options, meeting passcode, all of the stuff. Required passcode for participants joining by phone. Host video, all of this stuff. I'm gonna scroll all the way down. I'm gonna hit Control F so I can search for stream. Down here it says allow streaming meeting. If this is not turned on, you won't be able to use it. Okay. And then you select it. You can do a custom live streaming service, because some live streaming services will allow you, and it gives you certain permissions, and then you just have to put the instructions here. But you can use Facebook, Workplace by Facebook, YouTube, and a custom live streaming service. Okay, and you just hit save here in order for that to be used there. Also, in your back office, when you want to create a breakout room, all you have to do is select this button here, and that will allow you to split your participants into separate, smaller rooms. Okay, this is really good when you have several age groups or several different groups that you want to separate out, that you had, that you didn't know how you were going to do it. Before, you had a building and you had those upstairs, those in the corner, those in this other room, but now you can do that even in the breakout rooms. I think you can build out up to, I don't know, how many rooms did we have for the Unity project, Raymond or Kiana? We had a
It
lot.
was about
We had
50.
like third, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but I think you can do up to 50 rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a really good function. All right, let's move on. I want to get you here. And if you think of any questions, you can type them in so you won't forget them. All right. One last thing I want to talk about hosting a Zoom meeting, marketing your meeting. Marketing your meeting, just sharing with people what's happening. And so what I've done for some of our meetings is I use Bitly links. I will use a Bitly link to make it short. Like you guys, when you joined the meeting today, you went to www.bit.ly/free Zoom training, right? You can create Bitly links. That means it shortens your URL. It makes it more memorable for your audience. You can do that by just going to bit.ly.com, bitly.com. That's B as in boy, ITLY .com, and you can shorten any long link of yours, and that helps easily market your meeting so that you can make people aware of it. Everyone knows at our church it is bit.ly/RFM online. RFM online. They, if they forgot it, they know it by, if they forgot how to join the meeting, they know that link because we made it easy for them to grab it. So even if they can't click on the link, they can type in the link and find it. And so you have to find ways to easily market your meeting, whatever you're hosting, so that your audience can find you. So types of meetings, I talked about this a little bit before. Consider what type of meeting you're going to have. Is this a lecture or a traditional class, somewhat like what we're doing today? Or are you having a panel or multi-presenters? Like will multiple people be presenting on your meeting? Are you having a dance or a fitness class? Because there's so many different things that you have to think about when you're using movement. Is this a informal meeting, like a get together or a fellowship, right? Those different, you can there's several things you can do for that. Or is this a registration event or webinar? And so you can upgrade your account to be able to host webinars. And with webinars, your audience can come in and get information, very professional, and they won't even see, like, you see how we can see each other? The webinar feature, you can't see anybody except for the presenter, and that's for a more professional panel like type situation. All right, but just consider what type of meeting you're going to have, and that will tell you exactly what you're going to need for your Zoom meeting. Speaker view. So I am recording, I think, in gallery view right now. So if you look on the left, this is the active speaker view where you just see the person that is actively speaking. So that may be one person, that may be like for me, you see me in the picture, but then someone else started talking, and so then people will see the other person when they're talking. Okay. When you're in gallery view, you'll see everybody that's in the meeting. Okay. Now, when you're recording your meeting, if you don't record in gallery view, you won't see the people. You will only see the active speaker, which can be good and bad. I've seen it where we really needed to see the class and their reaction to the teacher. Um, and so we needed to record it in gallery view. But if somebody is teaching a fitness class or a dance class, you need to record it in the active speaker view so that you can see the movement. If you don't put it on active speaker view, you will be looking all over the place for that person that's teaching movement. And so you have to consider which view you want to record in. You can go back and forth. You can change it when you're while you're recording. If you go back and forth, if you switch the active speaker to gallery view, it will record it that same way. Okay. There are times I am on Zoom and my main screen disappears and I am unable to get it back. Let's see. Unable to get it back, my main screen. So if I spotlight a video, so one thing that you can do also when you're trying to only show the active speaker, you don't want the distraction of everyone else, you can spotlight the video by scrolling over their face, and there's three buttons in the right hand corner for them. And when you click on those buttons, you can select spotlight video. We did that. We hosted a funeral service online. It was totally online for one of our dear sisters in the dance ministry for the National Liturgical Dance Network. And so when there was a speaker we spotlighted that person's video so that it was only on them, because we wanted to see everyone that was there to pay their respect, but then we wanted to highlight the person that was praying, highlight the person that was giving the scripture. So we just spotlighted each video so that nobody had a choice as to who they were seeing. Okay. When you're on your phone, even when you're in active speaker mode, if somebody is actively speaking, you can still scroll and look at everybody. You can still scroll through and see people. It's just that it will record an active speaker view. Okay. So here's 7 tips for a smooth virtual experience. Number one, be ready. Be ready. Arrive on time. Consider using a visual on your share screen that your guests will see as you arrive. You guys saw a beautiful flyer when you came in, right? And so it set the tone of what to expect. I had some music playing, right? So you can do this to set the tone of your event, all right, or your meeting. Number two, control. You are in control. Remember that. Utilize your mute functions to prevent disruptive background noise. You can mute participants upon entry to eliminate unnecessary sound. You can even turn off the share screen function, like I shared before, if needed. And also, this is a bonus. You need to turn off the chime sound for entry and exit. You ever been on a meeting or you boom, boom, boom. Every time somebody comes in or exits, you hear this
Mm.
boom. Well, you can take that function off, okay, by going to participants. When you click on participants and then on right, all the way to the right, you hit more. You hit the button that says more. And then all these functions will come up. Allow people to share screen, allow people to unmute themselves, play the chime during entry and exit. You can either turn those things on or turn them off. Okay, so be in control of your virtual experience. Prepare. Hosts and presenters should arrive early for troubleshooting. If you have a presenter coming on a meeting, if you're hosting a class, come on early. Check your lighting. Make sure your background looks good. Okay. If you don't like your background, they have virtual background. You can share virtual. You can do a virtual background. Don't y'all see me? Y'all see my virtual background? I added that just to show you that today. You can use some of the backgrounds that Zoom provides you with, or you can use a photo of your own. So you can be as creative as you want to be for your background. But make sure that you arrive early and you can give your team last minute instructions. Be prepared so that your audience is not coming into you trying to get it together. Okay, this is excellence. We're producing excellence. Amen. Four, sound. This is important for those that teach dance or fitness classes. When music and instruction are happening at the same time, you cannot. I recently attended a fitness class and I couldn't hear the music because the music was just. I had opted out for a virtual option to take the fitness class, but there was people actually in the room. So they were playing music off of a device in the room. And guess what? Zoom is not friendly for that. You will not be able to hear music and people talking at the same time. It's going to go in and out. So, in order to fix that, you want to play music from your device, from your computer. Did you guys hear the song when you came in today to the meeting? You heard it clearly, right? That's because I was playing it through the actual computer. All right. If I was playing on my boombox or my Bose speaker, it would not be pretty. All right. So you want to be careful about the sound and having the best sound quality. Etiquette. Be inviting and use language to engage your audience. Attendees, make sure you use your mute function. Don't disrupt the class. Don't disrupt the meeting. If your video is on, ensure your background is clean. Dress appropriately. Some people come onto the meetings and they got stuff all hanging out, but make sure you're dressed appropriately. And you may think you're dressed appropriately until you sit in front of a camera. So sit in front of it and look and see if there's anything that you need to fix. All right. And again, use your mute function. Um, be interactive. I'm sorry. Yeah, number 6. Be interactive. Encourage people to use the chat while they're muted. And give people a chance to respond. Sometimes you ask questions while you're teaching, and nobody says anything right away, but they may just be trying to come off of mute in order to answer you. So just pause longer than you would if you were face to face to give people a chance to respond to you. And again, encourage people to use that chat. Sometimes when I'm talking, I'll be talking about this and talking about. I'm like, somebody type, etiquette in the chat. So use that kind of language to engage your audience because it may be difficult. We're quarantined. This is virtual, so do whatever you can to be interactive in the process. Okay. The seventh thing I want to say is be creative. Find ways to share PowerPoint like I'm doing today. Use graphics. Try playing music. There's a polling function. If you're having a fellowship or a meeting, a meetup, you're meeting up with your girlfriends or your guy friends, right? Or your church members, wherever you want to do. If you just want to have a fellowship, we played a great game for our church's anniversary. We used the polling function. We played, Roof Fellowship trivia. We did trivia, right? And so we had so much fun. And Zoom has a polling function that you can do a you pre you preset the questions. You do all the questions you want with the answers, and so people get a chance to actually use their devices to answer the questions, and it's interactive and it's fun. Okay. And again, use the breakout rooms as you see fit. There's no reason why you can't be creative just because we're virtual. All right. The last thing I wanted to share with you is about Zoom bombing. Beware of Zoom bombing. This refers to the unwanted disruptive intrusion, generally by internet trolls, into a video conference call. Um, I only experienced this at my job. We were having a dance class for my job. Someone started to put up pornography.
What?
People started to do type things in, and so you have to have control over this, and you can control it. So don't worry if this ever happens to you. Now, one of the things I do to protect our church from Zoom bombing, I don't share our meeting IDs publicly. We may share it in an email, but it's not housed on our website, and I do not post it on our public Facebook page. I don't do that because they were trolls and they were going around seeing which churches they could intrude on, which organizations they could intrude on. Just the devil, straight up devil. And so we are ready to combat them. Amen. And so we are ready for when they come. So this screen here, if you see the button that says security, you can lock your meeting so that no one else new can get in, right? Because you can kick the people out. When you see them, you can actually remove them. Scroll over their name, click on those three little dots, and it has an option where it says remove participant. So you can remove the participant and put lock meeting so that they cannot get back in. You can take the share screen function off. So people are not allowed to share the screen. People were sharing like just straight up pornography or just inappropriate stuff. You can turn off the chat. We have people putting inappropriate stuff in the chat.
Wow.
People have been putting inappropriate, renaming themselves something vulgar, right? And then you can take that off where people can't rename themselves. You can remove it that they can't unmute themselves. Okay. And then you can even report the user. All right. So be careful and beware of Zoom bombing. All right, because it happens. It was happening a lot, especially in the beginning of quarantine. But I think it's died down a little bit. But that does not mean that the devil is not still out there. All right. So be careful of those things. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my first question is, if I was if I was the host and I'm using the share screen, that means I would have to have set up to do like you did your presentation. Can I also play the music while I'm sharing the screen? Or do I need to have another device, or like in your case, you're using multiple devices?
So you can use right now my computer audio is off because I'm using my phone. I wanted to be able to admit people in and things like that. So and I'm using the phone for my video. But in another case where I didn't have to do that and I just wanted to use the video on my computer, I can use I can share my screen. I can use music. When you guys came in today, my share screen was up, my audio was on, and I used a song from my iTunes. So I
Okay.
played everything on the one device. So you can share your presentation and use music at the same time. Yes.
And so if I was doing that, I would be looking the way that you are with the main screen and then you
Yes, and then
being
it
the
has a
presenter
smaller
on the
screen.
side.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And what you could do as a user, like I'm sharing my screen, but I just swipe to the left. So now I don't see the screen. I see you guys.
Oh,
Okay. So you can always swipe when people are sharing the screen just to see what people are doing. But yeah.
okay.
Yep. Any other questions?
Yes, the same question that I had in the chat, about if you're on the Zoom call and the main screen disappears, you just have a strip left and you cannot get your main screen back for whatever reason. I'm not sure why that happens.
Explain that again. You say you can't see
Like,
your main screen.
yeah, how I have a picture, I see your Q&A is your main
Hmm.
screen, but on top I see the pictures of everyone. That happens sometimes where my main screen just, I don't know, goes out I don't know where it goes, but then all I have is a strip. And no matter how much I click on the strips, I can't get the main screen back.
Okay, so if you are, it minimized your the strip of people. It minimized, and because you're seeing the share screen, right? And then you can't get to like the other people, right? Because you're on your computer.
Yeah, I'm on my computer,
Yeah.
right?
So right now I have and I'll show you, I'll turn my video around. Did it turn? Okay. Oh, it won't turn for me. I was trying to turn it around so you can see it, but I'll take a picture of it and show it to you, Carol. Because it's a strip at the bottom, and so there's a dash where you minimize. And then there's a grid, is it like these squares? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's 9 squares closely together. And if you click on that, it goes up and down. So you can actually put your cursor in the corner of that black box or the strip and drag it out to see more people at one time. So you can make it bigger. You can click on the grid. It's several things you can do um, to broaden your screen so that you can see more people.
Actually, it wasn't even the fact that my screen was small or minimized. The screen literally just the largest screen just disappeared, and I just had just a strip on the side of the people, and cannot get the mainstream back. So like I didn't actually minimize it myself.
Yeah, you can. You won't see a main. You will only have a strip
Yeah.
when you're when you're on the computer and you're in this view, because the person wants you to see their screen, and you won't not see it until they stop sharing their screen. So I'll show you even more. I can go over that with you even more. Any other questions?
Yeah, I had a question.
Yes.
I wanted to know, I just have a basic account. So can I do a lot of things that you taught with just a basic account, or you have to have more advanced account?
No, you can do this with a basic account. I just know with a free account, you have 40 minutes. That's it. You have 40 minutes, and then it will kick everyone off after the 40 minutes. You can join back on if you like, but it'll kick you out again after another 40 minutes. But you can do all of this even with the basic account.
All right, thanks.
Someone else was saying something.
Yeah, I had a question. If you are I guess hosting a meeting, but you can't get to a laptop and you want to share like your music and your presentation, I know you can share a presentation, but is there a way to share music on the phone?
You can. You can. You can play the music from the phone. It may be a little more difficult to navigate. You going back and forth depending on what type of phone you have, but you can.
Okay, I just wanted to know if that was possible. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Well, thank you so much for participating today. I hope you learned something.
Thank you.
And this is free. But if you feel so led to sow a seed into my business or ministry, please do so. So that ministry like this can continue. I try to train other organizations and other ministries. I've done Zoom training with Do Ministries. I've done it with First Park Baptist Church. I've done a little bit with my church family. And I try to make sure that we make it readily available for as many people as possible. So if you would like to sow a seed, you can Cash App, PayPal, or go to my website and click on the donate button. You're not obligated to, but please feel free to if you would like to. Awesome. Again, I thank you all for participating. You will receive a recording of this. Okay, so this is a jewel and this is a treasure. So you can go back to reference some things. And please feel free to share it with others. You're not limited to keeping it to yourself. Please share it with as many people as you think need it. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all, and be on the lookout for anything. Again, Butterfly East is available for graphic design services, training programs. I work with entrepreneurs to develop customized business strategies and things like that. And so I do Zoom training, Canva training, how to design your own website, how to design your own graphics. I teach on MailChimp. I have a butterfly formula where I teach entrepreneurs and ministry leaders on how to grow their business or ministry. And so I do consulting services. If you need to hire someone for a special project of yours for a certain amount of time, I'm available for that. But you can learn more about that at NajiyyahBailey.com and see everything that I'm involved in. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you.
And have a
Blessings
blessed
all.
night.
Good night.
You too.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good
Be
night,
blessed.
all.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Bye.